Okay, so our next screen tutorial that I'm going to be doing is on virtual field trips and science and social studies. So science and social studies are optional right now while we're doing home-based learning, okay? However, that being said, what you do in science and social studies will usually be built in later on in the week for a reading, writing, or math activity, okay? So it will help us build some background knowledge. For example, yesterday for your science, you were asked to watch a video about tornadoes and write an informational fun fact paragraph about tornadoes. If you noticed, your homework, your classwork today in reading is to do a storm chasers escape, where you are going to learn about even more dangerous storms. Okay, so they build off of each other. This week we are going to be doing, or today we're going to be doing a virtual field trip. Okay, we're all kind of stuck at home, not being able to do things. So for social studies, we're going to do some exploring. Okay, so yesterday I couldn't sleep last night, and I woke up and found out that the Iditarod sled race has found their first place winner. Okay, so the Iditarod sled race actually started in Anchorage, Alaska, and on March 17th they have their first person cross the finish line. That makes them the champion. He won $50,000 for this race, but when you think about what he had to do, that's not a lot of money. After 9 days, 10 hours, and 37 minutes, he traveled over 1,000 miles with just the dog team pulling him to win the race. Okay, he's the first one that came through. He came through on March 17th at midnight. Okay, and throughout today, tomorrow, into the weekend, and into the couple weeks through basically when we're doing home learning, other sled dog teams are going to be coming and crossing the finish line. So what we're going to be doing is this. This is our virtual field trip. These are some links that you can go to learn more about the Iditarod, its history, sled dog teams and mushers. These are some things that I quickly found. You can also, with your parents' permission, go on Google and do another search once you get a topic that you're interested in. You can actually go to the Iditarod page, and when I'm done with this, I'm actually going to fix this so that you can click on the actual Iditarod page as well to get information, and it'll tell you the sled dog teams, the ones that are still out there, the ones that have completed, the different checkpoints, pictures along the way, videos, that kind of thing. Okay, so here's the first link. You can click here to Smithsonian Magazine. They do a quick brief history of the race and other Iditarod facts. On this link, it's going to take you to an actual Iditarod musher, and he's going to talk to you about the Iditarod and give you some interesting facts, like what the dogs eat and that kind of thing when they're racing. The next one is a story about Akia, who is a famous sled dog that took place in the Iditarod. She had been, if I remember correctly, she had been hurt along the way, and her musher decided that she was going to leave the dog at a checkpoint so that the dog could heal properly, and the dog did not want to be left behind, and so he or she, I don't remember whether it's a boy or girl, took off running and finished the Iditarod by tracking the scent of his owner and his team. Okay, the next link is called the Great Serum Race. The Iditarod is actually based upon a historical fact. Back in 1925, Nome, Alaska had an outbreak of a disease called diphtheria, and it happened in the middle of the winter. And in Alaska, especially during that time, you were basically what they call snowbound. You could not go places, and you were trapped. People couldn't get to you, you couldn't get to them. Okay, so they had these illnesses, and people were getting sick and dying, and they couldn't get the serum that they needed in order to help heal these people to the town through planes or trains or even boats, because it's right. Nome is actually right on a bay, but the bay had frozen over, so the boats couldn't get into the land. Okay, so the governor asked for these sled dog teams to help transport the medicine by sled dog team. It took over 120 dogs, I believe it is, or 150 dogs and over 20 racers. Okay, so this is a book that Mrs. Small actually owns, that you can read to learn more about that. Okay, this is another one, which is a document I put together with an excerpt from an article where they talk about the Iditarod, its history, and the dog teams. And then last but not least, if you own Disney Plus, you might have noticed a movie called Togo. Togo is a movie based on one of the sled dogs that helped get the serum to Nome, Alaska. It's actually a little known story that Togo and his musher and owner were actually the real heroes of the Great Serum Race. You might have read a book called Balto. Balto was one of the dogs also involved in the Great Serum Race, but because he was the last dog to carry the serum to Nome, he gets all the credit. But Togo and his musher actually were the ones who traveled the longest distance to make sure that Nome got the serum that they needed. Okay, so today, tomorrow, over the weekend, you are going to explore these sites. Okay, on Tuesday, like you learned in writing, we're going to do different writing activities for each day of the week. It's True Fact Tuesday, and you are going to use your information to think of a topic that you want to write more about. So Mrs. Small chose to write about the history of the Great Race, the history of the Iditarod. Okay, and I chose to explain what the Iditarod was based on. So here's my paragraph. Okay, notice that when I wrote it, I used a heading. I have a topic sentence. Okay, I've got to change this. It's not going to be a sentence about tornadoes. It's going to be a sentence about what you're going to be writing about. 3 supporting details about your topic. Okay, and then you're going to go to Google Classroom and click Iditarod to type your paragraph. So here's my paragraph for a sample. The history of the Great Race. The Iditarod sled dog race recreates the journey taken by dog teams and their mushers in 1925 to get life-saving medicine for the children of Nome, Alaska during a diphtheria outbreak. The medicine had been delivered to Anchorage, but because of the severe weather Alaska is known for, it was stuck there. Alaska's governor asked mushers and their teams to help get the medicine to Nome. Over 150 dogs and 20 mushers helped get the serum to Nome. The Iditarod remembers and honors the dogs and their mushers' bravery. Okay? So I got these facts from doing my virtual field trip. Okay? I don't think I actually had to do any other research besides just paying attention as I was clicking on these links and looking for information that specifically had to do with my topic. I did watch all these by themselves before I developed my topic. Then I thought to myself, what did I want to write about? And I went back to each of them and picked out facts. Okay, and that's what you're going to be doing for Tuesday. But as I said, I wanted to give you a chance to just explore these on your own before Tuesday. Okay, if you don't choose to do the science or social studies until it's assigned, you will have a little bit extra work because you will have to do this part before you can do the writing. Okay, so it's up to you however you want to do it, but that's our first virtual field trip. We're going to visit Alaska and the Iditarod race. Enjoy!